Good morning, everyone. In the last class, we discussed about eligibility determination in our application. So as we discussed in the last class, eligibility determination is one of the most important part in the project because citizens will apply for the plans. Which citizen is eligible for the plan? Which citizen is not eligible for the plan? That will be decided by ED module. So what the code that we have done is we are collecting case number from the UI. That case number will be available for every citizen, and with the case number we can fetch all the citizen information and we can execute the conditions based on the plan that citizen applied. Okay, so here by using case number we are getting citizen data, what application, citizen application data, what plan that citizen applied. Okay, and all the information we will get, and based on the plan name we are going to execute plan conditions. Based on the plan name we are going to execute plan conditions. So if citizen data matching with the plan conditions, then citizen will be approved for the plan, otherwise citizen will be denied for the plan. So like this, right? See, yield service IMPL class available. Here we are writing a method determine eligibility. It will take the case number. Based on that, we are getting the plan data. Based on the plan data, we are executing the conditions. If the condition satisfied, he will be approved for the plan. If condition not satisfied, he will be denied for the plan. Once the eligibility determination is completed, we will store the eligibility data into eligibility table and we will return the final response. And once the eligibility determination completed, a notice will be generated for the citizen that is called correspondence. Now, let us talk about what is correspondence, that is CO module. In this module only we are going to learn multi-threading implementation in the project. Okay, CO module. So what is this CO module? CO is responsible to generate and send notices to citizens. Okay, correspondence module is responsible to generate and send notices to citizens. So below are the sample notices. So for the example, plan approved notice will be available for the citizen. When the eligibility is determined, some people will get approval for the plan, some people will get denied for the plan. For approved citizens, we need to send eligibility plan approved notice, eligibility approved notice, right? Plan approved notice, or else I can say eligibility approved notice. The title can be anything. It will say that you applied for a particular plan and system identified that your data matching with the plan conditions, you are approved for the plan. Eligibility approved notice, then we are going to specify eligibility denied notice. Suppose for example, any citizen data is not matching with the plan conditions, then that citizen will be denied for that. Eligibility approved notice, eligibility denied notice will be available. Eligibility renewal notice. Suppose if you renewal reminder, for example, if your eligibility is completing by next 1 week, okay, so you will get a reminder message. Simple. When there is a credit card bill amount, postpaid bill amount, so they will send the reminders 1 week before. They will send the reminders 1 day before, last day to do the payment and all that stuff. Okay, so such kind of reminders we are going to send from the CO module. Okay, CO module, correspondence module, it is used to send the reminders. It is used to send the reminders. Eligibility reminder notice. For example, if any eligibility record, if any citizen eligibility got terminated, eligibility termination notice is required. And if any additional documentation required, we need some additional docs required notice. Suppose for example, for your eligibility, we need some extra document from your side. Then for that also, we are going to send additional documentation required notice, missing docs notice. Missing docs notice will be available, etc. Like this in the real-time project, we are having 185 notices types in the CO module. So in the project, CO module is available. CO module is responsible to generate and send notices to the citizens. Here it will send approved notice, denied notice, eligibility renewal reminder notice, eligibility termination notice, additional documentation required notice, missing docs notice will be available. So like this, multiple notices we have. In real time, note, in real IAS application, we have 180 plus notices like this. 180 plus 185 notice types are available. Okay. So we are not going to discuss all the 180. That is not required for us. So here we are taking example of 5 to 6 notices here. So in the real time, we are having 185 notices like this in the correspondence module. So what is this correspondence module? Correspondence module is responsible to generate and send notices to the citizens. So what kind of notices it is sending? Eligibility approved notice it will send. Eligibility denied notice it will send. Eligibility renewal reminder notice it can send. Eligibility termination notice it can send. Additional documentation required notice it can send. Missing documents notice it can send. Now, this eligibility notice generation will execute in the nightly batch processing. Okay. Notice generation will happen. Notice generation will happen through nightly batch jobs. So in the real time, batch jobs will be available. Batch jobs are nothing but they are used to perform bulk operation. Notices generation will happen through nightly batch jobs. Batch jobs will be scheduled for the execution. So for example, I want to send a notice for the citizens whose eligibility is getting completed in 10 days of time. 10 days before, I want to send a reminder. Now, here, database table will be available. Eligibility details table will be available. In the DB, we can find out the eligibility end date. The citizens who are approved, they are getting the benefits, but this month is the last date for their eligibility. So in this month, their eligibility getting completed. Now, 14th date eligibility getting completed for several citizens in the RI state. Now here, I will write a batch job. So this is 10 days reminder, 10-day renewal reminder, 10 days reminder job. 10 days reminder job will be available. What is the purpose of this 10 days reminder job? This 10 days reminder job is responsible to find out the citizens whose eligibility will be completed in 10 days. Whose eligibility end date is 10 days from today. Now this batch job should be executed. What this batch job should do? This batch job will connect with the database table and it will find out the records which are having eligibility end date as 14th August. Whose eligibility getting completed by 14th August. Today it will execute. Every day it will execute. Right? So when this job is executing today, it will identify the records whose eligibility is getting completed by 14th of August. Then this batch job will contain the logic to generate the notice. So maybe there are 1,000 citizens available whose eligibility is getting completed on 14th of August. This job will find out all those 1,000 citizen records whose eligibility getting completed in 10 days of time. Then it will process that record. Processing the record nothing but generate notice. Whatever the notice it is generated, that batch job is going to generate this notice. Once the notice is generated, this batch job is going to store the notice into S3 bucket. Okay. The notice will be available in the S3 bucket. S3 bucket will be available to store the notices. So it is going to generate the notice. It is going to store the notice into S3 bucket. Let me do like this. Let me show you the diagram. What is the notice generation process? Okay. So here DB will be available. And here our batch job will be available. This is CO batch job, 10-day reminder job. 10-day reminder, 10-day reminder notice job. So like this, we have CO batch job, 10 days reminder. So any citizen whose plan is getting completed in 10 days, to send the reminder for them, we created one batch job in the project. Okay, 10 days reminder. How you will get the reminder for the credit card bill, mobile recharge, FASTag recharge, something like this. 10 days reminder job we are trying to develop. So what this 10 days reminder job will do? It has to fetch the data from the database table. DB will be available where eligibility data is available in our database. So this CO batch job will communicate with the database. Here for the CO batch job, schedule will be available. This batch is having a schedule. When this job should execute, that schedule will be prepared by the project admin team. Now assume that this batch job schedule daily at the 7 p.m. Daily 7 p.m. is the schedule for the batch job. So every day at the 7 p.m. this batch job should be executed. This is the schedule, nightly schedule. So this is a government project, right? Project will be used from morning 9 to 5. 5 o'clock offices will be closed. Nobody will use our project after 5 p.m. Then at that time, our batch job processing is going to start. So there is a schedule. This batch job should execute daily at 7 p.m. Right? That is the scheduling we are going to do. Once this job is executed, what this job will do? This job should take the eligibility data from the database, whose eligibility end date is today date plus 10. Eligibility end date equal to 10 days from today. So those people records will get. Now, so once we get those records from the database table, we need to generate the notice. So what is the meaning of generate the notice? Generate a PDF. Generate PDF. That is the notice generation. After generating the PDF, store in S3. Store PDF in S3 bucket. Okay. Store the PDF in the S3 bucket. Update PDF URL in DB. Okay. S3 will be giving PDF, right? Update PDF URL in database. Or else update record. Update record in DB. Right? Update DB record. So what is the meaning of updating DB record? Earlier that notice was in the pending status, or earlier the notice is available. We are going to take that. We are going to update the DB record. So URL will be updated, status will be updated. Okay. Send a notice to send email. Send email. Whatever the notice we have generated, that notice we can send in the email. So this is the process we are going to follow. Okay, guys. So this is our notice processing. Notice processing. It can be a 10 days reminder job, or it can be eligibility approved notices or eligibility denied notices. CO batch job, ELIG notice. So eligibility determined for the citizens. Whoever is applied for the plans today, for them, eligibility notices got generated. Today at 7 p.m., this notice job is going to execute. What is the duty of this notice job? It is going to generate the PDF. It is going to store the PDF in the S3 bucket. It will update the DB record and it is going to send the email for that. Okay. Now, first step, the schedule is going to execute. So every day at 7 p.m., my CO batch job should execute. This is step number 1. As per the schedule, daily at 7 p.m., my batch job should execute. What this batch job will do? This batch job is going to communicate with the database table to identify the records which are in the pending status. So today, several people applied for the eligibility. Some people got approved, some people got denied. So who approved, who denied, for them, we need to send the notice based on the eligibility status. Who got approved for the plans, who got denied for the plans, for them we need to generate the notice. CO batch job, it will generate the eligibility notice. How to generate the eligibility notice? Take the eligibility data from the database table for the records who are in the pending status. For whom we have not sent the eligibility notice, those records will fetch from the database table. Then once we got that data, we need to generate a notice for that. We need to generate a notice for that. So in order to generate a notice, this is the process we are going to follow. Daily, as per the schedule, our batch job is going to execute. That batch job will fetch the data from the database table. After fetching the data from the database table, it has to generate the PDF. That is step number 3. So PDF template will be available. Approved PDF template, denied PDF template will be available. So PDF is generated. We are not going to store the PDF in the database table because PDF is a binary data. We should not store in our database. Where we are going to store the PDF? PDF we are going to store into S3 bucket. PDF will store into S3 bucket. Once we store the PDF in the S3 bucket, then we are going to create that PDF URL in our database table. Only URL will be stored into our table. Actual document will be stored into AWS S3 bucket. So we will update the URL and we will say the record processing is completed, PDF generated. The trigger, whatever the record is available, it will convert from pending status to completed status. Once it is done, finally we are going to send that PDF, whatever the notice is generated, that notice we will send to the citizen in the email. Okay. So this is the logic that we need to implement. Guys, this is the logic that we need to implement. This is notice generation in our project. So this is one batch job to generate the eligibility notice. So in the real time, how many batch jobs will be available? As we have 180 notice types, 180 batches are available in the real time like this. Okay. So this is one job processing process, one job processing logic. So every day, one program will execute in our project. That program is responsible to generate and send the notices to the citizens. So to whom it is going to send the notices? For the citizens who applied for the eligibility today. So in the RI state, in different cities are available, different DHS offices are available. In all the offices, citizens will apply for the plans. Some people got approved for the plans, some people got denied for the plans. For all those people, we need to send eligibility data. We need to send eligibility details to all those citizens. Generate the PDF, store the PDF in the S3 bucket, update the database record, send the email. Or else after sending the record, you can update the record in the database table. Send email we can do first, then later we can update the record in the DB saying that the record processing is complete. So record processing means the record is converted from pending status to history status. So schedule daily at 7 p.m. this has to execute. It has to identify the records which are in the pending status. Eligibility records, eligibility determined. Notice generation is in the pending. Once the notice generation is the pending, it will pick up all the records. It will generate the PDF for that. It will store the PDF in the S3 bucket. It will send the email for the citizen. It will update the database record as completed. From the pending, the record will go to completed. So these steps will happen. These 3, 4, 5, 6 steps will happen. If there are 1,000 records available, 1,000 times these 4 steps are going to execute. Schedule will execute only one time. DB query, it is going to execute one time to fetch the pending records. Fetch the pending records. Okay. Now here, schedule, step number 1. Okay. Trigger job at 7 p.m. daily. Trigger our job at 7 p.m. daily. This is the meaning of step number 1. Okay. Then step number 2. What it is going to do here? Fetch pending triggers. Pending triggers means that for the citizens whom we need to send the notices. As of now, if the notice is not sent, that record will be in the pending status. So the records which are in the pending status, we call one record as one trigger. Okay. Fetch the pending triggers from CO table. CO notices table. For which citizens notices are not sent, we need to fetch the pending triggers. Generate PDF, process each trigger. Process each trigger. That means we need to generate the notice. Generate notice. Generate notice. Generate notice is nothing but generate the PDF. Store PDF in S3. Store PDF in S3. AWS S3 bucket. Okay. Then send a notice to citizen in the email. Whatever the PDF we have created, send PDF to citizen email. Citizen email. Update the DB record. Update DB record. URL plus status. Then one record processing is completed. So here if you observe 3, 4, 5, 6 steps we need to execute for every pending record. Okay. 3, 4, 5 and 6 steps should be executed for every pending record. Got my point? 3, 4, 5, 6 steps should be executed for every pending record. So this is correspondence batch implementation. So same process we followed in the real time also. We have implemented 185 batches like this in the project. Those batches are scheduled by using a scheduler. So some batches will be executed on daily basis. Some batches will be executed on the weekly basis. Some batches on monthly, yearly, quarterly, like that. So company, based on the project requirement, the schedules are going to be different. So correspondence, one of the batch schedule is a daily at 7 p.m. Okay. CO batch job, eligibility notices are available. Right. It is used to generate the notice for the citizens on daily basis who applied for the plans in the IES, irrespective of the eligibility status. Some people got approved, some people got denied. If the citizen is approved, we need to send a approved notice for the citizen. If citizen is denied, we need to generate a denied notice and we need to send. Are you guys able to follow me? Are you guys able to follow me? Yeah. Guys, look at the diagram, numbering and the execution flow for that. Look at this.
Hi,
This.
sir.
We need to implement this batch job. We need to implement this batch job and we need to generate the notices. In this batch job only, we need to implement multi-threading also. Got it, guys? So morning 9 to 5, people will go to offices and they will apply for the plans in the IES application with the help of caseworkers. So 9 to 5 across the state, 9 to 5 in several offices, citizens will be applying for the plans. When they apply for the plans, now we need to generate notice for them and we need to send the notice to them in the email. So for that, we are using batch concept in the CO. CO batch jobs will be available, which is responsible to generate notice and send the notice to the citizen. So what is the process we are going to follow to generate and send the notice to the citizen? Okay. So schedule will be available for the project for the batch execution. So that schedule is defined in the project, guys. Some batches will have daily schedule, some batches will have weekly, some batches will have monthly, like this. Okay. As per the schedule, our batch is going to execute. Daily 7 p.m. that batch job should execute to send the eligibility notices. To whom we need to send the notices? For the citizens whose eligibility got determined and still notice is not sent. So for the citizens whose records are in the pending status, for them we need to generate the notice and we need to send the notice. Okay. So batch job is available. That batch job should pick up the records which are in the pending status in the database table. So that is the reason, if you see in the CO notices table, we have maintained a column called status. We have maintained a column called status. By default, that status will be in the pending. Default is pending. So when the eligibility is determined, record will be inserted to the notice table with the pending status. We need to generate the notice and we need to update the status as a completed or history. Okay. So from this table, we need to identify which notice, which records are in the pending status. We need to pick up those pending records from the table. Once we pick up those pending records, the pending records may be 1,000 or maybe 2,000, maybe 5,000, maybe 10,000. How many records are in the pending? We will fetch those pending records. So each pending record we need to process like this. This is called notice processing logic. So how we need to process that notice? Generate the PDF, store the PDF in the S3 bucket, send the email and update the database record. Okay. So trigger the job at 7 p.m. daily. Who will do that? Scheduler will do that. So in that we have a batch job. What our batch job will do? Batch job will fetch pending records. That may be today record or yesterday record. Few records are yesterday, still not processed. They will be in the pending. Fetch the pending triggers from the table. For those pending triggers, generate a PDF. Then store the PDF in the S3 bucket. Send the PDF to citizens. Update the DB record. So these 3, 4, 5, 6 steps we need to repeat for every pending trigger. Suppose if I get 10,000 pending triggers from the database, then I need to do this process for 10,000 triggers. If I get 50,000 records, today assume that 50,000 people applied for the eligibility. 50,000 records are in the pending. For 50,000 records, I need to generate the notice and I have to send the notice. So this is called notice generation process in the correspondence module. Notice generation process in the correspondence module. Clear? Anybody having any questions on this requirement? The process, theoretically, are you clear? We need to convert this into project. We need to develop this project. Come on, guys.
Hi, sir.
Hello.
Sir, in this process, where multi-threading you are going to use?
Yes, sir.
Sir, at which point actually multi-threading are?
You will understand. First, we will develop this API. We will run this for 10,000 records without multi-threading, and I will show you how much time it is going to take. Then after we will implement multi-threading, then I will show you how much time it is taking. Without multi-threading, how much time to complete 10,000 records. With multi-threading, how much time it is taking to complete 10,000 records. I will show you the clear difference.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Sir, this is Pramod.
Yes.
Sir, are we using date API concept in the batch processing?
Date API concept means?
Yes, Java date and time.
You can use it. You can use it. Yeah. Guys, are you clear with the logic here? Are you guys clear with the logic here? So step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Our job is available. Job nothing but our program, our REST API. We have one batch job. Our REST API is available, guys. This REST API is responsible to generate the notices for the citizens on daily basis based on their eligibility details. Based on their eligibility details, it has to send the notices to the citizens. First step, scheduler is going to schedule the job at 7 p.m. daily. CO batch job to send the notices will be executed. In that batch job, we are going to communicate with the database table to identify the records which are in the pending status. So whatever the records we are getting from the database table, for those records, we need to generate PDF, store that PDF in the S3 bucket, send the PDF to the citizens in the email, and update the record as a completed record, and update that S3 bucket URL also into our database table. To generate that PDF, already we have used iText API, that is Open PDF API in the reports mini project we have developed. So same code we are going to reuse, whatever we have used to, whatever the code we used to generate the PDF in the third mini project, reports API, or first mini project, I think so. So when we developed PDF logic, guys, first mini project or third mini project?
First mini project.
Yeah, in the first mini project, we used PDF logic to generate the PDF report, right? Same logic we are going to reuse to generate the PDF. So once that PDF is generated, then that PDF we need to store into AWS S3 bucket. So we have seen how to log in into AWS, how to create IAM users in the AWS, how to generate the credentials for the IAM, right? All those things we have seen already in the AWS topic. So we are going to create S3 bucket in the AWS, and from our Java code, we need to upload that PDF into S3 bucket. Once it is done, we need to send that PDF to the citizen as an email attachment. So in the first mini projects itself, we have seen how to send the emails with the attachment. Once email is sent successfully, then we need to update our PDF record. I mean, eligibility record is there, na CO table. We need to update the record as completed because notice generation complete. So this process we need to do for multiple records. Okay. First, we will do this process for one record. Then later, we will implement the same process for 10,000 records. Suppose if 10,000 people applied for plans in the IES, how much time our batch job is going to take to process 10,000 records without multi-threading. Then I will tell you, same project, if I implement with multi-threading, how much time it is taking. That difference we are going to understand. So where to use multi-threading in the real-time project and how to implement multi-threading in the project. That concept we are going to learn with this CO batch job execution. Guys, you got the concept? All of you able to understand the concept here? Anybody having any questions on this theoretical part? Anybody having any questions on this theoretical part?
No, sir.
We are good now? Yes, perfect. So now let's go to project creation. Start.spring.io. Maven project. What is the API number we have? 505 CO API. Okay, Java 8 dependencies. Web dependency, MySQL driver, data JPA. Then we are using data JPA, mail starter, mail sending is required. Spring Web, MySQL driver, data JPA, mail sender. What else? PDF dependency we can't add from here directly. Open PDF cannot be added. No. We need to add that separately, or else you can check iText. No. So that is third-party API, guys. We cannot select from here. We need to take it from our previous project. Then dev tools, we can add it. Web driver, JPA, mail sender, dev tools. Good for now. Click on project. Project is downloaded into our system. Go here, downloads, extract that project. CO API is created. Let us take this CO API and import that into our IDE, guys. Whatever the CO API is created, import this CO API into our IDE to start the coding on this. All right. File new, import existing project, existing Maven project, CO API, finish. Yeah, CO API is importing. Okay. Currently just we have application.java. So it is completely batch related API, guys. So there is no output from this. There is no input for this. So for this batch job, do we need to take any input and is it giving any output? No, it's completely backend job. No UI, no request, no response. Guys, do we have any request and response for this? Do we have any request and response for this? Do I need to take any request binding class and response binding class? The request binding class and response binding class is required for this or not required for this?
Not required, sir.
Not required. Why it is not required?
Because it will working automatically by 7 p.m.
It is completely
batch job.
a batch job. It is going to execute at 7 p.m. on daily basis.
Right.
It will find out pending records. So let me create one interface here. Okay. I'm going to make this interface as CO service. The CO service, I am writing just one. I'm just writing one method. Okay. So process pending triggers, just like this. Public void process pending triggers. In this method, we should write the logic. Okay. So let me create one package in.ashokit.service package. CO service class will go to that package. CO service will go to in.ashokit.service. Good. Now let me delete that from here. It is there in the service package. Process pending triggers. How to process those pending triggers? We need to implement this interface. CO service IMPL class. In this class, we need to implement that interface. Implements CO service interface. Process pending triggers. Here, process pending triggers, one method is available. What we need to do in this method? From this method, we need to get the records which are in the pending status. So where the records will be in the pending status? In our database table, records will be available in the pending status. So what I need to do is get all pending records from CO notices table. We need to get all the pending records from CO notices table. So to get the notices, we need the repository for this. We need a repository for this. CO repository is required. New interface. I'm going to create one interface in the repo package, that is CO notice repository. CO notice repository will be available. This notice repository will be using one entity class, CO notice entity. CO notice entity will be available for this. It is mapped to database table. All right. Now, this is our entity class. Repository will be using this entity. This repository will extend from JPA repository. Extends from JPA repository. CO notice entity will be available for this. Primary key is the integer. It is our repository. This is our dummy entity. We need to complete the entity class variables and all that stuff. We will make it as a entity. Good. Go to IMPL, get all pending records from the notices table. To get the records from the notices table, I need CO notice repository interface. So in that table, in the notice table, records will be available in the pending status. I need to get the pending records from that table. Good. So here, if you see the table structure, notice status will be available, whether it is pending or completed. Default will be pending. Default will be pending, notice status. So I need to find out the records whose status is P. Find by notice status. For that, we will write one custom method. Find by method. Public list of CO notice entity. Find by notice status. Find by notice status. We are going to specify string status. So the status is pending. We need to find out the records whose notice status is pending. Okay. So that we will specify here. Private string notice status. This is a variable. So based on that, we are going to get the list of pending records. In the IMPL, we need to call that method notice repository dot find by notice status. What is the status? It is a pending. It is going to return list of records. It is going to return list of records, multiple records. Today, you may get 1,000 records. Tomorrow, you may get 10,000 records. After that, you may get 1 lakh records also. It is the result we are getting from this method depends on how many records are pending in the database table. Depends on how many records are pending in the database table. So once we get this, I'm going to write one more method here. Instead of writing everything in the single method, I'm going to write one more method, private boolean process each record. Now, I'm going to take CO notice entity as a parameter. I'm going to take CO notice entity as a parameter. What is the purpose of this method? This method is responsible to process each record based on the entity. Now I will get entity dot get a case number. In this entity, case number will be available, right? So case number is the most important part in our application. So for this entity, case number will be available. Now I will be getting that case number. Entity dot get the case number. So once I got the case number, based on the case number, get the eligibility data. Based on the case number, get the eligibility data. Find by case number. We already created eligibility repository. So eligibility repository is available. Eligibility entity is available. Eligibility entity is there. We need to take the eligibility entity. Using the eligibility entity, we need to get the eligibility data. Copy the eligibility entity here. And we need eligibility repository to communicate with the eligibility table. So we are going to communicate with the CO table and we are going to communicate with eligibility table. Now, eligibility repository is available and eligibility entity is also available. Perfect. So with this go here, I'm getting currently, let me make it as void. We'll change it later. It is a private method. This method will be called only within our project. Now we got the list of pending records. I need to process each record. I need to process each record for CO notice entity colon the records, whatever the records we got. Then I'm going to call process each record by passing the entity object. So whenever this batch is executed, process pending triggers method will be called. In this method, I am writing the logic to get all the pending records based on the status. I'm getting the list of records. Each record I need to process. To process each record, I'm calling one more method in the for loop. If I get to 10,000 records, 10,000 times this loop will be executed. If I get to 20,000 records, 20,000 times this loop will be executed. For loop, for each entity, for each pending record, I'm calling process each record method. What is this process each record method will do? It is having case number. Based on the case number, it has to get the eligibility data. So we need to inject eligibility repository here. Private eligirepo at the rate auto void. Okay, eligibility repository is available. Eligibility repository dot find by case number. I need to get the eligibility data based on the case number. So there is no method available to get the record based on the case number. Let me write it. Public eligirepo find by case number. That long case number we are going to supply as an input. This is one custom method. Now let me call that method find by case number. With this we got the eligibility. So now in the eligibility, we can get eligibility repository is available. Find by case number, entity we need to get, not eligibility entity. Okay, eligibility entity we got. Eligibility entity dot get plan status. Whether this person is approved for the plan or denied for the plan. Now we need to check a condition. If plan status is approved, okay, if a plan status is approved, if approved dot equals to plan status, if this person is approved for the plan, then status will be AP. So this is approved plan. Okay, else this person is denied for the plan. Else if DN dot equals to plan status, a person who got approved for the plan and a person who got denied for the plan. So once he is approved for the plan, then what I will do? Generate approved notice. Generate approved notice by passing eligibility data. Eligibility data contains the citizen eligibility information. I'm going to generate approved notice by using eligibility record. Suppose if the person is denied, then I'm going to call generate denied notice based on the eligibility data. Okay, these are the another two methods. I'm dividing the logic into multiple methods, guys. You can keep everything in the single method, but it will become difficult to manage. So that's why only fetching the pending records. Step number one. Step number one is triggering. Step number two, fetch pending records. Fetching the pending records, I'm writing in one method. Process pending triggers. Getting the data from the tables. After getting the data from the table, I'm calling one more method called process each record method. In the process each record method, I'm getting eligibility data and I'm generating a notice. That notice can be a approved notice or that notice can be a denied notice. It can be approved notice or it can be a denied notice. Are you getting my point? So once this notice is approved or denied, then let me create this method. Generate approved notice, okay, and generate a denied notice. There are two methods available. So this method is responsible to create approved notice. Okay, so let me make it as a denied. One is approved notice, another one is a denied notice. Create a method. denied notice. This method will create the denied notice. This method will create the approved notice by using that PDF template, PDF code, generate PDF, generate PDF file, generate PDF file. After generating the PDF file, what we need to do, guys? After generating the PDF file, we need to send that PDF file to S3 bucket. Then we need to update the record status and we need to send the email. So lot of logic we need to write. We got the pending triggers from the database. We need to generate the PDF. We need to store the PDF into S3. We need to send that PDF as the email attachment for the citizen. We need to update the record status as completed or as completed. Okay. So that is the logic we need to build. So observe. Lot of code we need to write for this, guys. I got all the pending records. Each record I need to process each record. I got the eligibility data for that record. Based on the eligibility, I can identify the plan status. If the status is up AP, nothing but approved, generate the approved notice. If the status is a DN, that means that citizen is denied for the plan, denied for the eligibility. We need to generate a denied notice for that. For that, we have two methods. PDF code already we implemented in the mini project. Same code we need to implement here. Generate the PDF file and generate the PDF file. After generating the PDF file, we need to get that PDF file, right? So we are going to get that file as a output. Okay. So let me take file as a output. Whatever the file they are creating, that file I will be getting as a output. Got it? So currently that file is not available. Let me return some null value from this. These methods are going to return the file object. So once we got the file object, I'm going to store that file here. File PDF file is equal to null. That PDF file will be stored into a variable. It can be an approved PDF or it can be a denied PDF. Once that PDF is created, store PDF in S3 by passing file object. Store PDF in the S3 by passing that file object. PDF file is available. I need to store that PDF file in the S3 bucket. For storing that PDF in the S3, I'm creating another method. What this method will return? This method will return URL. Okay. Logic to store in S3 bucket. Return. What it has to return? It has to return the URL. Okay. String file URL. So once we store the object in the S3, that object will have a URL. We are going to get that URL. Now we need to update record in DB. Update processed record. Whatever the record we have processed, that correspondence object is there now. We processed the CO entity. CO entity information is available here. We need to update that record by using this file URL. Okay. Whatever the entity we got, that entity should be updated with the file URL. In the S3 bucket, we stored the URL. That URL we need to update in the table, and we need to update status also. Update the processed record. Okay. So for that, I am passing entity object. Whatever the file I got, that file URL also I am passing. Create another method for this. Update the processed record. Okay. For updated the process record, Boolean is updated. I'm going to fetch that as a response. Boolean is updated. So that record, what we need to do here, set status as completed. Okay. Set notice URL. Notice S3 object URL. Update the record. This is the logic we need to write in this method. Update processed record. Once this record is updated, we need to send email. We need to send the email. So to send the email, we will create another class. Email utils class will be available. New class utils. We need to go for email utils. When you go for email utils, this is also a component. For this component, we need Java mail sender. Let me write public boolean send email. So here I'm going to take subject. I'm going to take subject. I'm going to take body. I'm going to take to, and I'm going to take file attachment. I need to send the email with the attachment, right? So here, logic to send email with attachment. Whatever the attachment you want to send in the email, that attachment you need to supply as a parameter. Now go to IMPL. Here I'm going to call this email utils functionality. Private email utils class available. Let's inject it. Email utils using auto void. Now take this email utils and call this method here. Process each record. Eligibility we got. Notice generation logic in the separate methods. Storing the PDF into S3 in one method. Update the record in one method. Once if the record is updated, then we need to call email utils dot send email. What is the subject? What is the body? To address and file. So to address means citizen email ID. Where the citizen email ID will be available? Citizen email ID will be available in the apps table. Initially, we are collecting the citizen record. In the application registration, we are collecting the email ID. So we need to get the citizen email ID from the apps table, and we need to send that email as a attachment for the citizen. So this logic will execute. This logic will execute for every record. So why I am writing multiple methods? Generating approved notice in one method. Generated denied notice is one method. Store the PDF in the S3 is in one method. Updating the record in one method. And processing each record logic in one method. Now, do you understand why we are creating multiple records here? Guys, you understand why we are creating multiple records here? The reason for creating multiple records. Multiple methods basically. The reason for multiple methods. If I don't create multiple methods, if you create a single method, lot of code we will write in the single method, it will become difficult to maintain. Now, so here we will be having one REST controller, a simple REST controller, dot REST, CO REST controller, CO batch REST controller, CO batch REST controller. In this REST controller, we are going to inject our service. Private CO service, auto void. Next one, @REST control. Write one method. Public string generate process notices. So simply it is going to call service dot process pending records. So @get mapping, just a simple notices. Okay, we are going to return some success or whatever it is required. This REST controller method we need to schedule. When this method should be executed, that we need to schedule. So whenever request comes to this method, it will call the service method. What this service method is doing? This service method is going to fetch all the records which are in the pending status. List of records will come. Each record we are calling in the for loop by giving to another method called process each record. In the process each record, CO record will have the case number. I'm getting the case number. Based on the case number, I'm getting the eligibility data. Then I'm getting the status of the plan. Then I'm getting the PDF. I'm generating the PDF file based on the eligibility status, approved or denied. So to generate approved notice, one method. To generate a denied notice, another method is available. Once the notice is generated, we need to store that notice into S3 bucket. Once you store into S3 bucket, you will get the object URL. That object URL you need to update in the database table with the status update and URL update. Once that file is updated in the database table, finally we are sending that notice whatever we generated to the citizen by using email. So this method, process each record, will execute couple of times. If you get 10,000 pending records, 10,000 times this method should be executed. If you get 20,000 records, 20,000 times this method should be executed. Are you guys able to follow me? Are you guys able to follow me? Did you implement notice generation in the same way? The approach what I am following to write this code, did you follow the same approach? This is the diagram tell you the execution flow. Guys, you understand the coding? What we need to write here? And upload, generating the notice PDF file, uploading object to S3. Can we butify that code? Even I can't write that code without taking the help of the Google. PDF generation part, uploading the object into S3 bucket. I can't by heart that code. I can't butify. Even I can't write that code without taking the help of the Google. So as a developer, you need to know how to search in the Google, how to complete your task. So first you should understand the requirement. Okay, this is my requirement. I need to develop a batch which should send the notices for all the pending records. I need to get the pending records from the database. I need to process each pending record. Processing means I need to generate the PDF file based on the eligibility status. I need to store that PDF in the S3 bucket. It will give me the object URL. That URL I need to update in the database table. Then I need to send the email. So like this. So this is the requirement. I prepared a structure. Complete coding is not done, but the skeleton is ready. I prepared a skeleton. So whatever the entities we need, what the repositories we need, the skeleton is prepared. Skeleton is prepared. Just a dummy coding I have written. Now, wherever the gaps are available, we need to fill those gaps. Here, we need to write the logic to generate the PDF. Write the logic to generate the PDF. Store that into S3. How to store the object into S3 using Java? I need to search in the Google. I need to take the sample code and I need to modify that code. And I need to update the record. I need to update the record. Entity is already available. For the entity, I need to set the URL. How to set the URL for the entity? Entity dot set notice status. Notice status I'm going to say as a completed. Initially, it will be in the pending. Now I'm setting the status as completed. Okay. Private string notice URL will be available. I need to generate the setters getters for these entities. Got it. Now here I'm setting the status as completed. Entity dot set notice URL. Notice URL we are already getting as a method parameter. We need to update. We need to set this file URL. So I'm modifying this. Now what we will do? CO repository will be available. Repository will be available. Notice repository will be available. Repository dot save of whatever the entity we have. That's it. And return true. It is going to update the record available in our table which is pending. It will be go to completed or history. You can set any status CRH, completed or history. Any one flag we can take it. So this method is going to update the record. Here we need to write the logic to generate the PDF, store the PDF into S3 bucket. I have already given this as one assignment for you people, if you remember, how to upload the object into S3 bucket. When we are discussing AWS services, I gave you this task for you people, how to upload one object into S3 bucket. Did you remember? Guys, do you remember? I think some people has done that task also. I have checked that assignment also in the class. I do remember that. How to upload one object into S3 bucket. We already discussed about that. I did not write the code. You people has done that code as the assignment in our course. That logic we need to keep here to upload in the S3 bucket. PDF generation. Already we completed this PDF generation 3 months back in the mini project. In the first mini project reports API, we have used Open PDF API and we generated the notice. That notice is a PDF file. Okay, these methods we know already how to generate the PDF, how to store the object into S3. That's it. That correspondence batch processing will be complete. So tomorrow we will run this with the single notice first. Then later I will insert 5,000 records or 10,000 records into database table. I have already prepared one shell script, guys. So because we can't insert 5,000 records, 10,000 records manually from the UI, I have created one stored procedure for testing purpose. I will execute that stored procedure, which will insert 10,000 records into table so that we can run our batch with the 10,000 records and we can see what is the performance of the batch with the 10,000 with the single thread. Then we will see what are the problems. Then we will go for multi-threading. So in the tomorrow's class, we will implement multi-threading. First, we'll complete these methods, guys. Today, I will take the code which is done in the previous project. I will keep that code here and I will add the logic here to store that object into S3 bucket. So even I can't write this code without taking the help of Google. I don't know that. I can't remember that much code. Okay. You guys also can Google it, how to store the PDF in the S3 and you can keep that logic. PDF generation we have done in the mini project. You can keep that logic here. So tomorrow we will run this and we will see for one record. First, we'll test it for one record. If it is working for one record, then we will test it for 10,000 records. If it is working for 10,000 records, then we will implement multi-threading on that same process. Then you will get the full clarity. CO implementation, correspondence implementation. Understand? Yeah. Do I need to share this repository? Or you will try? Is this skeleton? Do I need to share or you will try this? Git repository for this CO. Come on, respond. Any questions, anyone? You can unmute your mic and you can ask if you have any questions on this. Anybody having any questions on this? You can unmute and you can ask. No questions? You don't have any question, guys? Anyone?
Hello, sir. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello.